The kids are alt-right, or so it seems, claims one teacher who's complaining that so many kids these days, the Zoomers, are becoming based and red-pilled. Could it possibly be that children are simply rejecting the left-wing propaganda being taught in schools? Perhaps. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we've got to talk about this hilariously unself-aware article, as well as the culture war and the Zoomers who are rising and taking the red pill and becoming based. So, if you don't know what all these words mean, it's basically like this. Right now, education is a left-wing establishment. It's biased towards the left. But not only that, you have a lot of far-left activists who are currently teachers, teaching kids socialism, teaching them communism, teaching them critical race theory, and basically teaching white children that they are bad because they are white, and all of this other woke, regressive nonsense. And these teachers are complaining that, oh no, the kids are taking the red pill, which means the truth. They're opening their eyes to the truth, and they're rejecting my propaganda. Oh no, how horrible. Now here you can see in the title of this article, the kids are alt-right. When your star pupil gets red-pilled. Teachers know the warning signs when students are radicalized, de-radicalized by online hate movements. They just don't know how to stop it, or if it's a power struggle they can ever win. Now, I want you to pay very close attention here. First of all, they claim that people who take the red pill are alternative right. That's not true. The red pill is simply a reference to the Matrix movie. In the Matrix movie, Morpheus asks Neo, the main character, look, I know that you're suspicious about this world around you. I'm going to give you a choice. You can take the red pill, and you could see how far the rabbit hole goes. I'll show you the truth of this world. Or you can take the blue pill, and you can wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. Go about your life as if nothing happened. But Neo rejects the blue pill. Instead, he takes the red pill and he wakes up and he realizes that the world he lives in is a simulation. It's kind of like that movie, They Live. All the red pill really represents is seeing the truth. As Morpheus says in the film, what I'm really offering you is the truth and nothing more. The meaning of that statement is simple. When you take the red pill, you learn the simple truth about the world. Now they're going to go on and they're going to complain that the kids are becoming based and red-pilled. Zoomers, to be precise, Generation Z, this comes after millennials. But I also want to point out that a lot of millennials are also taking the red pill, and even some of the older folk, believe it or not. To make this simple, when they say alternative right, what they mean is kids becoming more conservative, basically. These people are far leftists. They believe in communism and cultural Marxism and radicalism. And now they're going to say that these kids are being radicalized, but the reality is it's the opposite. The red pill de-radicalizes you. It removes the brainwashing. So we're going to jump into this article and we're going to kind of break it down. And I'm going to expose to you how these teachers are trying to brainwash kids. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell button to get notifications for more content. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a share. But now it's time for a quick word from our sponsor, Virtue Signal, the card game. The Virtue Signal card game is a card game parody of social justice activism. You play as one of 12 different social justice warriors. The object of the game is to attract enough follower NPCs to win the game. There's a lot of special effects and cards, all based on the crazy woke politics of today. Some of the characters are Captain Fedora, for example, the Antifa Crusader, etc., etc. You can even get the full version of the game, including the DLC pack, for $34.98. Check out my referral link in the description. So let's start with this paragraph, folks. The prospect of red pilling, in which a person becomes, they say, radicalized, but what they really mean is de-radicalized by right-wing spaces online, has attracted a lot of media attention in the Trump era, amid rising concern about the political polarization and the ascent of right-wing figures on platforms like YouTube. Now, I want you to really think about how they're framing this, because it's clear that this person is a far-left radical. That's what they are. Because to a far-left radical, if you're even slightly conservative or even in the middle, even if you're a fence milquetoast sitter or whatever, the far left, which have become very, very common, they think that everyone slightly right of Stalin is far right because they're so far to the left. But it's not true. Look how they mention Trump. They obviously have Trump derangement syndrome. And of course, they talk about right-wing figures on places like YouTube, but what they don't tell you is that if you're a conservative on YouTube, you get censored, you get suppressed. My content gets suppressed all the time. The only way I can fight it is if viewers like you share my videos. But some people aren't so lucky. A lot of people aren't. And YouTube will simply suppress their content. But it amazes me that they don't talk about the left-wing radicalization, because that's the real problem. It's not right-wing Zoomers and conservatives that are going outside, burning down cities, rioting. The media says that it's a peaceful protest, but there's not been peace. Just the other day, a man was kicked and beaten by Black Lives Matter and Antifa, left-wing activists. They nearly beat him to death. But they're going to say that, oh, these conservatives and these centrists, oh, those centrists are so far right. Yeah, compared to what? Compared to you? They go on to say, often the entry point for awkward or disgruntled men is the manosphere, a misogynistic online subculture that includes incels, men rights activists, pickup artists, and men going their own way. But this tends to be a gateway to other right-wing talking points. Now, there's nothing wrong with the manosphere. It's a space for men only. You know, modern feminism has become utterly toxic, and modern feminists are telling men that they're garbage, that they're trash, that they're losers, that they don't deserve anything. Modern society is extremely toxic towards men. Nobody cares about men. Men are constantly being put down. It's horrible. Dating is not equal for men. Women get all of the choice. Men don't. And notice how they label all of these groups as bad. First of all, the whole incel thing, like, it's so stupid. All incel means is involuntary celibate. In other words, an incel's a virgin that would like to get laid. That's it. That's all it means. That's like 40% of the male population at this point. And just because they're virgins, you're going to insult them? You're going to put on this label? Maybe they don't want to sleep around. Maybe they just want one woman to marry and spend their lives with. Oh, that's so evil and so bigoted. You don't understand, Mr. Obvious. Virgins are evil. No, I don't believe that, okay. And then they go on to say that men's rights activists are bad? Really? Are you kidding me? I didn't know that men who simply want an equal say when it comes to divorce, when it comes to child custody, because men currently do not have equal rights. Do you remember the story about James? His mother and father divorced, and the mother is absolutely crazy. She has Munchausen's by proxy syndrome. And she's forcing James to pretend to be a girl and wants to give him gender reassignment surgery and hormones. The father does not believe that his boy is trans. And a lot of people seem to think that this child is being abused. I agree. Here you can see Texas judge reverses Save James decision. Gives the mom who wants gender transition for boy all rights. So this boy is now lost. He's going to be pumped full of hormones. His body and mind will be destroyed. And his mother, who is clearly mentally ill, it's not even his biological mother, mind you, is going to destroy this boy's life. And this happened in Texas. Texas, a red state. So don't tell me that men have equal rights. Because if men had equal rights, the father would not have lost custody and the right to decide what happens to his biological son. You know what I think? I think his unbiological mother wants to hurt the father, so she's brainwashing the child and abusing him. Evil, evil people. But the author would have you believe that the mom is the good one. Yeah, no, this is nonsense. You know, there's a video out there where this boy says, he says, "Mom tells me I'm a girl." If this boy believed he was trans, then he would say that, "I think I'm a girl." But he doesn't. He said his mom made him say it. This is a freaking travesty. And of course, the judge was a woman. Starting to see a pattern here, folks. Yada yada. And then, they even call out MGTOW. There's nothing wrong with MGTOW. That's the funniest part here, because what MGTOW is, men going their own way, basically, it's men who are fed up with bullshit. So they decided that, you know what, I'm not going to date. I'm just going to live my own life. And we're done. I'm done. I don't agree with it. I don't even like the movement. But hey, I can't blame them. Who the heck would want to deal with all this crap? It's horrible out there. Who knows when your wife will divorce you, take your son, and then, I swear, that woman has Munchausen's by proxy. I just know it. So, this article is absolutely insane. You see, these people are toxic, and they don't want men to think that they have rights. They don't want men to have rights at all. That's why they're toxic. That's why modern-day feminism is not about equality. It's about oppression. It's about revenge. So, the article continues. There's been less attention paid to unique positions of teacher who find themselves faced with radicalized students, even though they're often the first witness of the early signs of red pilling. How dare you know the truth? Among a younger cohort. Quote, I have totally noticed the radicalization of students with MRA stuff, says Kira Lynn Ferdderber, a sexual violence prevention educator in Florida. She says, I teach kids of all ages, but I notice it is most in middle school and high school boys, and it is getting worse and worse. Now, do you notice how all of the people that are complaining about boys learning that men have rights, men do have rights, right? Boys are valuable too. Do you notice how all of the people complaining about this are women? Literally every single person they quote is female. These are all toxic feminists, and the truth is they hate men. They say that the boys are radical, but the truth is, no, they're not. The women are the radicals here. Why would you complain about men advocating for having human rights? Maybe it's because you hate men. You hate boys. And you're trying to brainwash these kids and telling them that they're the worst, that they're nothing, that they're garbage. These people are sick. Very sick. And here you have it. Here's the truth. They think that conservatives are evil. That means you. If you're a liberal, they think you're evil too, so don't worry. Now, they go on to say, often, it is hard for teachers to tell whether a student is being truly red-pilled in the sense that they're being radicalized online, or whether they're parroting views that they've grown up with in their conservative households. There you have it. They think all conservatives are evil. Tessa, another female. You gonna have a man in this article? Oh, I forgot, men don't have rights. They're not people. They're not humans. Why would they have a opinion in your article here? Yeah, you're a toxic feminist. So they go on to blame conservatives, saying, quote, students simply take on talking points in the politics of their conservative parents. This can make them especially ripe targets for full-blown radicalization. Ooh, scary. How dare people have independent thoughts? Oh my God. And then she says Joe Rogan is far right. Wow. Joe Rogan is like a hippie, weed, liberal guy. Are you kidding me? He's literally a left-winger. They just called a left-winger far right. See, this is how you know that these people are the true radicals. Quote, a few started listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, which led them to reading Jordan Peterson's books. Jordan Peterson is also a liberal. I actually hate him for it. So, these people literally think that liberals are far right. Liberals are left-wing, centrist. Quote, I think that Joe Rogan's ideology is the biggest threat to critical thinking in the last decade. They mean a threat to their brainwashing. Okay, so I recently did a video where teachers were afraid of being exposed because they were teaching their white kids, for example, white students, that they were evil, that everything wrong with the world was their fault, and that they need to give all their money to black people and minorities. They're teaching critical race theory, intersectionalism, cultural Marxism, communism, socialism, and the teachers were radicalizing children. This is just another example of that. The students taking the red pill, they're just becoming regular conservatives, centrists, people who think that men have rights, regular people. And they're angry because their blue pilling is failing. And notice how they think that right wing equals evil. They say, there's some obvious warning signs that a student is being red-pilled, though. Like when they have a sudden and noticeable shift rightward in their views. When they specifically mention figures like Ben Shapiro and Peterson. who Olivia says her student loved. And when they use the language that makes the online influence obvious, like Chad and cuck. Are you telling me this is real life, right? This is a real article? They're complaining about the memes Chad and cuck. Oh my god, I'm red right now, I'm sorry. I'm trying to maintain my composure. Chad and cuck, yeah. Yeah, those are memes, all right. Oh, okay, so here's a big red pill. They say, quote, there's always been boys who ask, don't girls just lie, about assault, though? And we do want to take those questions seriously, Ferderber says. But increasingly, they're using language that sounds straight from Reddit, and they aren't satisfied with an answer or statistic I cite. They're basically complaining about boys waking up and realizing that, you know what, just because I'm a boy doesn't mean I'm bad. Just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm bad. And just because you're a teacher, that doesn't mean you're right. I'm not going to buy your brainwashing propaganda nonsense. Yes, some women do lie. In fact, if you actually look at the data, sexual assault is at an all-time low, but reports of assault are at an all-time high. How is that possible? How is it that assault is lower than ever, but the reports of assault are higher than ever? Well, it's simple. Most of them are lying. Oh my god, how dare you imply that females lie? They honestly expect you to believe that women do not lie. Everybody lies. In the word of House MD, everybody lies. And the data supports this. Nowadays, I don't really believe a woman who makes an accusation without any evidence. So if you want to make a claim, an accusation, mind you, which is very serious and can ruin someone's life. There's been so many stories about men who went to prison because a woman said that he assaulted her, and then years later they admit that it was all a lie. It's nonsense. And then that man, his reputation is ruined for life, even though it's not true. So no, don't give me this. When teachers notice the warning signs of radicalization, difficult questions arise. Where's the line between shutting down these arguments and allowing kids to explore new ideas? And when is the right moment to intervene? So what they really mean is, well, we want kids to ask questions, but we only want them to ask our questions that we want. We want these kids to be radical left-wing hippies who want to overthrow the U.S. government, who hate America, who hate themselves, and who hate others. These people are the real radicalizers. So Jacob, a 28-year-old teacher in Texas, says that I would never want to convert someone to being a liberal. Liar. Because you shouldn't be converting anybody to political ideologies, he says. Yeah, okay, I agree with that, but I have a feeling that you don't actually believe that. But that's all that needs to be said. Teachers should not be converting anybody politically, and yet they are. Most of them are. He talks about compassion and empathy and snowflake crap. Okay, I don't want another generation of pansies. I'm glad the Zoomers are taking the red pill and becoming based, okay? Because I'm tired of these snowflakes. I'm tired of people going out and burning down cities because they're liberal. Liberalism has become toxic. It has, I'm sorry. You have these liberals calling for communism. You have these liberals saying that we shouldn't have borders. You're saying it's just insane. And then they go on to blame the parents. They say, oh, it's all these conservatives. It's all these Christians. Oh, how dare your parents protect you from the school's propaganda. And then these people are so arrogant. They literally think that they're the arbiters of truth, and they're the only ones who can tell you what is true. He says it becomes a difficult game of both sidism, in which secular and scientific ideas are treated as some sort of left-wing radicalization. There we have the truth. Even if you're not saying it, we know it's true. They're trying to radicalize kids to the left. Jacob says, quote, I've had to accept from time to time that I will teach tolerance, and it will be seen as brainwashing, he tells me. You're not teaching tolerance. You're teaching intolerance. I know these teachers. They teach white kids that white people are bad. That's what they do. They do. That's intolerant. But they teach these kids this. And these are just little kids. They don't know any better. That's what makes it so evil. Tessa says that students often take on a conspiratorial mindset. A lot of conspiracies these students believe, like superior genetics, or that being LGBTQ plus is a mental illness. Look, I don't know how to break this to them, but if you are LGBT and I'm a member of this group, yes, you literally are not mentally normal. You aren't. That's not what the studies show. It can be classified as an illness of sorts. Basically, you have a dysfunctional brain or a different brain, right? It's not a normal brain. Is it a healthy brain? Maybe. Maybe not. But there's a lot of people who are in these groups that are clearly mentally unwell. Now, as for genetics, it's a toss-up. Genetics vary. Some people have better genetics. Some people have worse genetics. The averages vary too. You know, the bell curve. Asians are the smartest race on average. That's the truth. That means there has to be a second, third, and fourth place. Oh yeah, that's science. See, that's science. But the left rejects these ideas. Now, I'm not saying that anybody's superior to anyone else. What I'm saying is, genetics are real. That is a discussion that we can have. Because, you know, the idea that we're all born equal, yeah, it sounds nice, but it's not actually true. Some people are taller, some people are prettier, some people are smarter. It's a fact of life. She goes on to say, they think I'm brainwashed by liberal narratives and that I'm compelled to lie to them. Yep, you are. Now, I want you to look at this in particular because it's hilarious. They're angry that people who are red-pilled are telling other people the truth. Another problem when students are red-pilled is that they attempt to convert other classmates. Red-pilled students become highly argumentative and confrontational during lessons to sway the class towards their idea. You know, how dare students challenge you? You know, I thought school was about exploring ideas. You can't explore ideas if the only ideas are liberal. You just can't. And oh God, I just love the way they frame things. Long settled science and ethical norms, like racism being bad and LGBTQ people deserving rights. Ah, boy. Racism is bad. And yet, these teachers, a lot of them are racist, too. Maybe they're not bigots towards, I don't know, like Asians, but they do seem to have some bigotry towards white people. In my opinion, I've seen it. It's so common these days. It's disgusting. It's wrong. Now, let's finish this article off. I spent more time on this than I wanted to. Probably going to cut a little bit out for time's sake, but let's finish this. It can also be devastating for teachers to realize, despite their best efforts, some of their students might end up holding hateful beliefs long term. Yeah, hateful beliefs like believing that men should have equal rights in divorce and equal child custody. That's an evil idea. Oh, that's so hateful. Yeah, okay. You're full of shit. They go on to say, and many of them take it personally. Quote, my biggest worry is that they'll be stuck in their thinking forever. Wrong think detected. And that they'll join the Proud Boys or something, Tessa says. Okay, first of all, there's nothing wrong with the Proud Boys. Literally all they do is defend, peaceful rallies, actually peaceful rallies. And then they get attacked by left-wing extremists like Antifa. It shows you exactly who these people are. They're far left-wing propagandists. They're trying to indoctrinate your kids. She says, I feel like I should have been able to do a better job at teaching critical thinking skills. I hate that term. There's no such thing as critical thinking. Okay, you're either logical or you are illogical. There's no such thing as critical thinking. You see that all the time in school. They're not thinking logically. And then she goes on to say, they should have enough trust in me to believe that I'm telling them the truth. Because you know everything. Mrs. Left-wing, far-left liberal. Okay. She goes, honestly, she adds, it makes me feel like I failed at my job. Your job is to teach kids math, not to brainwash them with woke, left-wing ideology. And that's the story, folks. So, make no mistake, these teachers are trying to indoctrinate your children with left-wing radicalism. And they're literally calling conservatives far-right. They're calling liberals far-right because these people certainly are not liberal. They may think they are, but the reality is they've become communists. They become far-left. I don't know what to call them sometimes. On the bright side, a lot of Zoomers are taking the red pill. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you like the work I do and want to support the channel, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. Joining will give you access to a private Discord server where you can get de-radicalized from the left-wing insanity. If you want to donate, there's Donor Box and crypto. Links and addresses are down below in the description. And of course, one of the best things you can do is visit my merch store, maybe buy a t-shirt, and share this video. It's probably going to be a long run, so, you know, if you think that you want to red pill some normies, you want to make people laugh, show your liberal friend, go ahead and share. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.